Kenny Lawler is impacting defenses and how guys are playing them. Let's pull up some of these clips to talk
And
through.
and before we pull them up, the key word you said right there was impact. And Kenny Lawler is a player, and there are some other players on other teams who have this. He can impact the game without impacting the game. What I mean is Kenny Lawler doesn't have to catch a pass, and he impacts the game. And we'll show you that on one of these clips. He doesn't even have to catch a
Yeah,
pass, and he
yeah.
impacts the game. So let's check out the clip.
This is last week against Ottawa. If I'm the DB right here, we noticed watching this, Milt, there's a tight end. So Kenny Lawler is where's he usually lined up, Bill? Outside, right?
He's the
So
outside, but
right,
a lot of times he's on the line of scrimmage. So he's on the line of scrimmage.
right. So right here, there's a tight end. So there's a center in the middle, then there's guard, tackle, and you see at the very end, you see his towel sticking up. There's a tight end, which means that gives Kenny Lawler a full waggle. He can hit the line with speed, which when I'm the DB and I see this, I think that's 29 McGee up there, I believe. When I see that,
Mm-hmm.
I understand that there's a good chance he's getting the ball for two reasons. One, he's got that waggle that we speak of. And the second reason is that there's max protection. You have a tight end, there's an extra lineman in there, and there's a back in there, which means there's more time. So my radar as a DB is going up big time when I see this formation. Anything you see here in this release that tells you anything other than in go route, Milt?
He's going deep. He's going deep. A couple of things they did on this, and they isolated him over there by himself. The other receivers on the other side, and as you mentioned, he's using that waggle. He came over there like he was running 100-yard dash. As that DB, you have to think that he's going deep. If I give up something underneath, I can come up and make the tackle. But Kenny Lawler, if he runs by me and scores a touchdown, as he does, they're striking up the band. So
Right.
not the smartest play by the DB, in my opinion, Chaz.
I think McGee does a nice job, but I've been talking about this on the panel a few times over the last few weeks. I would stay on. It's easier said than done, but how I used to want to play guys like this in situations like this, I want to stay on top of the route. I want to force you to complete right now. That's going to be a 15-yard dig or an 18-yard comeback. I'm going to stay on top of all those routes and make you complete those. If you complete three of those on me, and now it's 2nd and 5, I need to get off the field. Maybe I
Right.
snug up and jump the route, but at this point, I'm going to stay on top of the route and force
Right.
you to be accurate. And I'm going to get out of my break quick and try to beat you to the ball. Right now, McGee's in good position because he's opened up early. So it would tell me, okay, he's staying on top of this route. And also, you want to stay outside so that Lawler doesn't get position on you. So here's where I'm confused. He opens up. You see the safety in the middle of the field right here. If he plays
Mhm.
outside of him, he now has help. If he runs that post, McGee now has help from this safety that's sitting in the middle
Right.
of the field. Instead, McGee lets Lawler outside of him and almost stops his feet. There you
I
go. You
believe
pause it? Yeah, yeah.
I believe he kept his eyes in the backfield too long. I believe he
Yeah.
kept his eyes in the backfield too long. And with all that being said, more than anything, realize that you're covering the best receiver in the CFL. There's a good chance they're going to throw him the ball. And that's what has to be your mindset right there. And I don't think that was his mindset.
Let's move to this next one. And this is Milt, what you said and how you described how he impacts the game.
Right. I said this is how he impacts the game without impacting the game.
Kenny Lawler is lined up at the top of the screen, and the single receiver set is a 4-by-1 set. And to what Milt's point was earlier, if you watch, looks like quarters coverage, which means 1, 2, 3, 4 across are the 4 quarter players. So there is 4 high players if you get 4 high routes. Now, Kenny Lawler at the top of the screen, he runs a dig route, and the impact of his dig route opens up the 4th receiver to the closest inside receiver, number 85, closest to Bo Levi Mitchell. Let's watch him. That's Keandre Smith. Watch both guys, both of the DBs for Ottawa at the top of the screen react to Kenny running this dig. Both of those guys should actually be high on this play. Take a look at Keandre running up the seam, Kenny Lawler. So those two guys at the top of the screen, they should be looking for that number 3 receiver to run that over route, or even number 2 receiver on the bottom of the screen. Either those two guys, 4 or 3 on the bottom of the screen, running those over routes because it's zoned. They're waiting for whatever comes to them. Both of them have their eyes on Kenny. And as soon as Kenny runs that dig, they're in pretty good position. You look at
Right.
both of those
Right.
guys
They're
have
in great
eyes
position.
on, yeah, they have eyes on Keandre and they have eyes on Kenny, it looks like, and they really should be that linebacker. It looks like Pickett there, I believe, but the middle linebacker really is who's going to drive that. They're kind of going to rally to this Kenny throw. Instead, because Kenny's been putting in so much work and had such an impact, they're both going to get their eyes caught on Kenny. Boom, both of their
You
eyes.
know what also helps in this situation is that you have a quarterback like Bo Levi Mitchell who understands what's going on. He understands that these guys have been keying on Kenny, and he
Good point.
understands when that DB decides to step down because his eyes are on Kenny. He knew he was going to have Keandre Smith over the top.
Let's watch it from the end zone angle. This is a really good angle, and watch what Bo sees. That number 33, his job is to look. He's only got one receiver. His job, he's got that quarter of the field. He's looking at number one, which is Kenny. Anything vertical from Kenny, he plays. If Kenny runs anything short, like the dig he does, he looks for work from the other side, which would be the number four, number three receiver on the other side of the field. And so right now, you see Keandre flying up the seam. Right now, that's his work. Number 14 and number 33, the two high players for Ottawa, they should be bracketing, really double teaming number 85, Keandre. They're both high players, quarters of the field. He's got the inside, 14's got the inside quarter, 33's got the other inside quarter, and that's what they should be looking at. But you see their eyes, they're in good position. You see Kenny Lawler run that in, and that's when number 33
I'm seeing
stops
the
his
view.
feet.
Yep.
Yeah, he stops his feet. He's got that deep quarter. Even number 14 passes. Number 14 for Ottawa passes Keandre off because he knows that number 33, the other half, has him. But again, the impact of Kenny Lawler's dig influences that high quarters player. Pauses his feet for just a second and on Kenny Lawler, and now Keandre is behind him, and Bo obviously with the throw.
Let's give Kenny Lawler some more credit on this play. This is why you run every single route hard. Even if you don't think you're getting the ball, you run hard because you have an impact on every single route. The person who's getting open is not getting open if everyone else is not running hard. So Kenny Lawler, he understands that, yes, I'm going to get the ball sometimes, but when I'm not, I need to run hard because I know it's going to open up some other guys. So got to give credit to him for that play.